Hello, my darlings. I'm feeling a little bit giddy right now. I have just recorded the first sort of, I suppose we could call it a trailer episode for the new offering that I'm sending out into the world. It's going to be I'm going to start really talking about it next week on the 10th, which is a full moon. It feels like a really beautiful time to be shining a light on something new. Welcome to the Henny Flynn podcast, the space for deepening self-awareness with profound self-compassion. I'm Henny. I write, coach and speak about how exploring our inner world can transform how we experience our outer world, all founded on a bedrock of self-love. Settle in and listen and see where the episode takes you. And you might have, if you've been listening to the podcast for the last few months, actually, you'll hear that I've been kind of birthing these new ideas and then seeking to sort of exit my chrysalis and then realising that I had to go back into the goo and all of that. So all of that has passed, which I'm really, really pleased to say. And the three things that I was, that were forming within me are all now, almost all out in the world. So the LoveWords, which you might have heard me talk about in the last episode, they are now being ordered, and some are about to wend their way to their new owners. That is deeply exciting, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's already sent me an order for them. It's really, really marvellous. If you're curious and you haven't heard the last episode, LoveWords are basically modern oracle cards. They're very simple, deceptively simple, I would say. And they really are an opportunity just to use these words to help tap into your own intuition, your own inner wisdom. So if you have a challenge or a problem, or you just want a little bit of extra guidance on something, you choose a word and you see what it says to you, because each word can be interpreted in many, many ways. And one of the things that I've been really enjoying is listening to how, sorry, that's Ronnie in the background, listening to how some people come up with, did you hear that? It's Ronnie trying to talk on the podcast now. How sometimes people will come up with an interpretation of a word that hadn't occurred to me at all when I was creating them. So it's like they now have a life of their own. You know, they have this like the layers and layers of meaning that just because I created the LoveWords doesn't mean I know all of the meaning that is held within them, because the meaning is actually held within you. So that's really exciting. And then the other thing that I have been birthing has been a year-long group coaching program. I haven't really started sharing that much about it. I've only sent it out to people who've already flagged an interest. If you think you might be interested, then please do email me. It's a small group, maximum of 10 people, and we begin in October. So if that's something that you'd like to find out more about, year-long group coaching, beautiful experience, really wonderful opportunity to do some of this deep coaching work, which is ordinarily only available one-to-one, and to do it in the company of some other wonderful humans. So that feels really exciting, and I kind of finalized all of my thinking around that over the last few days. And then the other thing is a piece of quiet, which is this new private subscription only podcast. So it doesn't change the Henny Flynn podcast. That will remain free. This remains free, ad free, subscription free. It's so a piece of quiet is actually something that is a completely new offering, and it's essentially a chance for a weekly pause. And like I said right at the beginning of this little ramble, it's something that I have just been doing a piece of recording for, and oh gosh, honestly, my darlings, it's so beautiful. I just can't wait to get it out into the world. And one of the things that I've said on this piece that I've just recorded is this kind of ripple effect. You know, I'm already noticing the benefits of creating and beginning to share, or, you know, beginning the steps towards sharing. And of course, when you create anything, the minute it goes out into the world, it stops being yours. It starts becoming a shared thing, a bit like I said about the LoveWords, really. You know, they're not mine, they're a shared offering now. And it's the same with a piece of quiet, that, you know, the minute it goes out into the world, that the impact and the energy that it starts to hold within it and that starts to ripple out from it, that becomes a shared thing. And it becomes a co-creation, and that's so beautiful. And I feel that way about all of my books, about My Darling Girl and The Heart of Change, and all the ways I tell myself I love you, and In the Flow, and Letters of Love. And, you know, that just feels really wonderful. I feel really kind of filled, actually, with that creative energy. And I'm really mindful that the world is a bit bonkers right now. And I think there's something about being able to also enjoy these kinds of moments too, even in the face of such devastating news as we see around us. Because I also saw something really important, actually, a post on, I think it's a TEDx or a TED Talk, about how vital creativity is for us as human beings. It's not about consumption, it's about creation. And when we are creating, we stop needing to consume in quite such a way. That was basically her premise, the speaker's premise. And I think that's really interesting. I need to go and watch the actual whole TED Talk, and maybe it's something that will inspire another episode. And I think creativity looks like many, many, many different things. You know, it can look like cooking a beautiful meal. Or you know, cooking a meal. We don't need to qualify these things. If it feels like an act of creation for us, then it is. It can mean you know, sort of planting something. It can mean sort of cutting somebody's hair. It can mean you know, creating something out of clay or paint or paper or, you know, coloured pens or, you know, anything. If we are immersed in it and we're operating from that deep place of intuition and instinct, and sort of like, oh yeah, this feels good, then for me that's really tapping into that creative part of us. And I agree with this TED speaker that it is absolutely essential. I've shared before on a previous episode, goodness knows when it was, about there's a really interesting, it's not really a psychometric, but it's a really interesting tool that can help us understand our needs and how satisfied we are that our needs have been met. And it's actually, I've included it with permission, I've included it in my book, The Heart of Change, because I just think it's such a useful exercise. And it's called the Human Givens. And in the Human Givens, there's a whole institute devoted to the Human Givens. There are 9 sort of key traits or needs that the researchers identified every human being has. And when I first came across the tool, I thought, oh gosh, this is so brilliant. I found it such a simple and, incredibly deep and insightful tool. And I couldn't quite understand why creativity wasn't one of these human givens. Like for me, it's an absolute given that creativity is a core human need. And so if you do come along and join the year-long group coaching program, we'll be using the Heart of Change as the sort of the framework really for, working together. And you will see that in that exercise, I have included creativity, again, with permission, because it's so vital, I see. So anyway, I suppose this is an episode about creativity. I've just realised I didn't even know what we were going to talk about, other than I wrote a poem. I often write poetry, and for many years they seem to always begin My Darling Girl, and that's what led to those first 2 volumes of poetry, the My Darling Girl books. But lately that's been happening less and less, and I've begun or resumed, I'm not sure, writing poetry that feels like it's not necessarily written to me, but feels like it's written with me. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, it's not from me, but it's definitely written with me. It's like all my parts are aligned and coming together to kind of sit and look at the poem and work out what the words are and how to express what it is that's rising within me. So yeah, it's written with me. I hadn't had that thought before. Anyway, I shared this on Instagram. I quite often will just pop them into my stories. I think that's it's a way of putting them out into the world without them being too front and center and sitting on my grid, as it's called on Instagram. And I've had so many comments from people, so many people saying how much they liked it, for want of a better word. And I thought I would share it here with you. And this whole episode is about creativity, isn't it? Because this is a piece of creativity that I'd like to share with you. And I wrote on the story, this is an early draft, but I liked where it was heading. And I haven't changed any of it because I've decided I like where it's landed. I mean, it doesn't mean it won't change in the future, but here it is. It's called When, with a question mark. And it begins. When did we get old, you and I? When did our hair go grey and skin begin to wrinkle in places only old people have wrinkled skin? When did we stop minding that we make noises as we stand up and sit down and move around? When did comfort become queen and the thought of those heels I used to wear obscene? When did we stop bothering about what others thought, or forgetting we used to think worse things about ourselves than others would have ever thought? When did we start to accept ourselves as flawed and fabulous creatures who will only walk the earth, in this life at least, for a few long years that at times can feel so short? When did carpe diem start to actually mean something we finally understood? Oh, my friend, when did we at last become the people our younger selves always hoped we would? I've read that so many times since I posted it. I think it's really rather good. I love it when I write something, when anybody writes something or creates something, and then you step back and you look at it and you go, gosh, that's really rather good. I much prefer that to the kind of, the anguish of... modesty. Yeah, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm just talking about being able to enjoy something that we've created. That's a nice thing, isn't it? Anyway, I think it's that. That's it. Just that for today. And if you are in the mailing list, expect to hear more about A Piece of Quiet. And if you are in the mailing list, if you're already in my email community, then you'll get a very special subscription offer. And so if you would like to know what that is and you're not already in the mailing list, then please do join up. There's a link in the show notes for this podcast too. And it would be utterly gorgeous to welcome you to A Piece of Quiet. I can't wait to begin sharing more with you about it. And I am sending you a hug and a wave.